Good evening. Good evening, everyone. CET Express. Good evening. Good evening, Deepthi. Bhavna, Revti, Chetan, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Anil. Oh, no need to feel low, Rahul, because one big opportunity is still there, right? Maybe you are going to join RBI. Maybe means maybe that's why you are not able to get the NABARD. So no need to worry. Fine, that is going to happen at some point of time. Some failures will be there, and do not take these failures as what as a negative thing, right? Just increase your energy and output so that whatever means see you're not get selected. I am telling you very honestly from bottom of my heart, whatever is in my mind, I'm just going to tell you without filtration, right? Not getting selected, that means there are some mistakes committed by you, and that is going to cost you for the result of NABARD. You are not able to get selected, and yes, because you have worked hard and that's why you are feeling little bit disappointed, that is agreed. But still you have to accept you have committed certain mistakes. That's why you are not able to be in the final list, right? So rather than just getting being disappointed, it is better to work on those things. You have the biggest exam after UPSC is going to come in next few days, right? You have to appear in that, and whatever the shortcomings was there in the NABARD exam, you have to fulfill it in this exam and clear it, right? So rather than taking it as a negative thing you are not able to get selected, right? Work on those things which led you to get failure in the NABARD. Work on it and get selected this year's RBI grade B. Fine. So take it positively, no need to be disappointed. But I understand that is going to hurt, but don't take too much time, right? Don't take too much time. But yes, I understand it needs some time, but do not take too much time for this. If you need any counseling, let me know, I'll discuss with you. Okay. Good evening, Vedamutra. Vedamruta. Okay, yes sir. It's nice name, but for me, uh, Vedamruta. I asked you about what is the meaning of this name. You didn't told me what is the meaning of Vedamruta. Vishwas, good evening. Chetan, no issues. That is a separate topic. If you have missed, you can watch it later. Yesterday's topic do not have any direct correlation with today's topic. Fine. So there is no need to worry. You can watch it later. Sir, I read your material. Do I need to attend the classes? Why you have retracted your? That was that was a genuine question. So if you are a reading material and that material is means for you, if that material is sufficient, and you feel that that time which you are going to spend in the live classes, you can utilize that time to do anything else which is more productive, then you can go for that thing. It's not like that ki, no, if you are not going to attend my classes you are going to be failed miserably. It's not like that. If you are able to cover with the material, that's fine. Wherever you need, you can come to the classes, either in the live class. If you are not getting the time to attend the live class, you can come to go and watch those classes later. Oh, Mr. PDF is not available. I am watching for the starting. See, you already have too much material. Too much material is already available in the form of PDF, right? Still, you want material. Okay, Rahul. Hello, Gudishi. Acha, it's Vedas plus life exhaler Amrit. Okay, okay. Ved plus Amrit. Very nice. Okay. Regarding PDF, I want to give you, but because of this means the very tight timeline I do have, I want to give by writing those PDF, but because of this very hectic schedule, I didn't get the time. So that's why I'm not able to provide the handwritten PDF for monetary policy for national income I have provided, but for the rest of the topic, it's getting very hectic for me. Still, I'm trying, but I'm not able to provide. Yes, I failed to provide that thing. I accept my mistake, and I supposed to provide because I have committed. But despite trying very hard to provide those things, I'm not able to do it. Since morning till then evening, taking classes, right? Then reading the material because this is the kind of the subject you have to read on regular basis. If you're not going to read, you're not able to teach. So this is why I'm not able to provide. Sir, I have a question regarding SWIFT issue of Russia. As USA and EU have banned Russia from the SWIFT method, then it is said that UPI would be the alternative. How UPI? Who told that UPI will be alternative? UPI is not an alternative to SWIFT. UPI is not alternative to SWIFT. धर्मेंद्र सिंह जी वही तो मैं अभी एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था. Which article? SWIFT means UPI as an alternative to SWIFT. It is too much optimism. It is too much optimism, right? It is optimism like what? It's that kind of optimism. Okay, small story. A village. There is a village. I'm not going to means there was a village. A very poor people are living in this village, and they are fed up with their poor status, right? So they went for a meeting. And in that meeting, they have decided कि we will attack on what? USA. These villagers said that ki the only thing what we have, right? We have to attack on what? We have to attack on USA, and if we will attack on USA is also going to attack us, and they will acquire our territory, that is our village. And once they will acquire our village, we will also going to be US. You are also going to be what? US citizen, right? Then all of our poverty is going to be the responsibility of US government, and then US government will provide all those facility, and we are also going to be what? Prosperous. So this is what they are planning. But in all these, during this planning, there was one old man, and he was very sad, but others were very happy. Why? Because they feel that their plan is very good. Ki attack on USA, we will lose the war. Definitely, we have to lose the war. We will lose the war, and we are going to be the part of US citizens. So everyone get very happy. But one old man, he was sad. So everybody asked him, "Ki Chacha, why you are sad? Why you are so sad?" So Chacha said that I am just thinking what will happen if we are going to win the war. What will happen अगर हम जीत गए तो क्या होगा, तो यूएसए का क्या होगा, राइट? सो दिस इज सच काइंड ऑफ द ऑप्टिमिज्म. यू आर थिंकिंग इन व्हाट कि यूपीआई इज गोइंग टू व्हाट an alternative of SWIFT. Indian government is not going to take such kind the risk to provide UPI as an alternative against SWIFT, right? So this is the kind of not economic power India do have to put UPI in the what rivalry of SWIFT, right? Even China was trying. China has tried to create its own system, but that system is not working even 10% with respect to the capacity of SWIFT system. So as of right now, for next 20, 30 years, there is no possibility. Yes, if India and China both are going to agree and create a common platform, then that common platform can go for what? That platform can go for an alternate of Swift, but still it needs more 10 more years. So Indian economy need more strength in terms of their external business like exports credit and export import business. Then India and China can think to create a rival or alternative to Swift. Till then, it is not possible. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Okay, now just one more announcement which I have to do is just let me erase all these things. Yes, the announcement is I'm going to start descriptive part tomorrow. Right. Let the other parts will be finished in small segments. But from tomorrow onwards, I am going to start descriptive. And first, I will discuss last year's question paper. Right. So one by one, I will discuss the all question papers. Fine. So from tomorrow onwards, properly, I'm going to start descriptive on huge demand. People are saying that, sir, you promised you are going to finish by 15, and even today's 20th, still the part is not finished. So I said, okay, fine. I will start descriptive straightforwardly from 21st. Whatever the small portion is left, I'll take it. It's not like that, I'm not going to do it. But 3 4 days continuously we'll discuss the descriptive, then 1 or 2 days in a week I will take those parts because they are not very means kind of very conceptual things. So in a week I can take those 2 or 3 lectures on that. Remaining lecture will be on descriptive. Descriptive is also going to be the part of revision also. Fine. Dharmenji, to join the Telegram, ask admin, he will add you. Sir, what about the current affairs? Any announcement or any update? अरे विश्वास अब जान लोगे क्या मेरी यार थोड़ा let me do one by one ना means descriptive current affairs each and everything, right? I need some time also. I'll do it, but just have a patience. I will do it, don't worry. Descriptive भी होगा, current affairs भी होगा, but just give me some time and space. Right. I bought your course. अच्छा, Telegram. If possible, take remaining lectures in the form of descriptive session. Sauda, actually, I am taking those sessions in the descriptive way, but I don't know why people are not able to get it. I took last 2 sessions in the descriptive format only, and even the today's topic is only and only for the descriptive, right? The topics like e-governance, the topic like e-governance or corporate governance, right? On these topics there is a less chance of having an objective question. There is very less chance. Most of the time they will ask the descriptive question on this, either scheme or how the e-governance and corporate governance are helpful. They are going to ask the descriptive. So descriptive is already in the discussion, but people want a proper descriptive session, right? So I'll take the descriptive session properly. Okay. Chalo. Okay. Now let's start. Let's start. No more questions or no more chat. Just focus what we are going to discuss today. First, corporate governance, right? And other topic is what? That is e-governance. Actually, the topic e-governance, when you'll see the syllabus, the topic of e-governance, they have clearly mentioned the role of e-governance in eradication of corruption, right? So this is the general topic. This is the general topic, whereas the corporate governance is in context of what? Banking sector. Banking sector. So corporate governance topic is focused on the banking sector. You can see here. They have clearly mentioned this thing. Corporate governance in context of what? Corporate governance in context of banking sector. Fine. So they have this topic in context of what? Banking sector only. Whereas the role of e-governance in addressing the issue of corruption and inefficiency in the government sector. So they have not mentioned banking sector, they have mentioned government sector. They have mentioned the term government sector rather than banking sector. Fine, because banking sector right now, the banking sector, most of the banking part of the banking sector is already based on what? Electronic governance, right? And day by day, most of the part is going to be what? Digitalized. Even in fact, 2 days back, our finance minister in USA, she announced that we are going to open this amount of digital branches. Fine. So government is planning to go for complete digitalization in the banking sector, right? So there is no issue of opting the e-governance, opting e-governance in the banking sector. So that's why we have to discuss overall e-governance, what is e-governance and how it is going to work. Fine. So let's start this part. So when we say what? When we say e-governance, right? When we say e-governance or corporate governance, the common term is what? The common term between two is governance, right? So what is governance? What is governance? Sir, I watched the lectures and completely of the previous lectures. You are very nice. Thank you. Thank you. From bottom of my heart, thank you. Now, just let me know what is governance. What do you think? What is governance? If I'll ask you, define the governance, how you are going to define the governance? What do you understand by the term governance? Generally, most of the time you have listened this term government. Government. Now the term is governance. So in very simple terms, if you have to define what is governance, how you are going to define? Controlling, directing. Controlling and directing. Any other answer regarding what is governance? What is governance? See, whether it is government or any private organization, right? Whether it is government or any private organization, they work in this chain, right? So, if we are an organization and we are assigned for particular work, for example, the government is assigned to run this country, right? Government is assigned, whosoever is in the government, they are assigned to run the administration of a country. To run the administration of a country, they have to go for what? Policy planning. Ki what should we have to do in order to run the system? So policy planning, what you have to plan, and whatever the draft you have prepared, now you have to finalize. So drafting is known as policy planning. Then you are going to finalize it at the level of what? Policy making. Now the policy is ready, we have to implement it, right? So this policy making to execution, this process is known as what? Governance, right? This process is known as governance. So governance is inclusive of both making and execution, but largely governance is related to what? Execution. Execution of planned process of the government through ministries and departments, offices, head offices, whatever we are trying to implement, we will call it as governance. Fine. This is known as governance. Now, in the modern day means in the 21st century, governance also includes what? The feedback process. Whatever we are implementing, what feedback we are getting, and on the basis of that feedback, we have to rectify those issues where we are facing the challenges and problems in the governance, and then come back again with the stronger policy and execute it in the better manner. So in this way, the entire policy making process happen, and the execution part of a policy is related to the term, strictly related to what is governance, right? So in the public administration, in the theory of public administration, there is one theory of public administration which says that what? Governance means what? Execution. And in the execution, we are going to face certain problem. When we are going to practically implement any policy, then we are going to face certain problems, right? So we have to resolve those problems, right? So some of people who are keenly observing this part, execution or the governance part, what they said that when you are implementing those policy at the governance level, you find some problems, right? On the basis of feedback, we found certain problems in execution, right? In order to solve those problems, you went for rectification and improvement, right? But at the time of rectification and improvement, what you did, actually, you have not solved that problem. Rather than you have increased the number of people who are in the part of execution. Means the managers in the government or those bureaucrats who are in the government, they every time complaining that we are not able to efficiently execute these policies at governance level because we are suffering with what? Human resources, right? They have given this thing, and rather than solving that problem, the level of governance, what? The size of governance is increasing, but they are not effectively implementing it, right? So over the years, the size is increased, but still governance is ineffective. That's why the new term came into the picture known as maximum governance and minimum government. So rather than maximizing the government, why this thing came? This thing came because critics who are criticizing the poor governance in the country, they said that what government is doing, government day by day is increasing the size of government, increase in number of ministries, departments, and offices, right? So you are increasing here, but governance is still at same place. So that's why this maximum governance and minimum government concept came into the picture, right? That concept came into the picture in early 1970s and 80s, right? And that was a time when and information communication technology get what initial momentum, and that information communication technology was properly implemented in order to minimize this what government, right? So minimize the government and use this ICT, information communication technology, in the domain of what governance. So that's why electronic governance, or in short e-governance, came into the picture. E-governance that came into the picture. And for countries like India, who are a developing country, for those countries, e-governance not just emerge as a tool for maximum governance. It is not just emerge as a tool of maximum governance, but when the e-governance will be there, then that means less number of people are going to involve. And then the less number of people is involved, that means less number of chance of what? Corruption. The famous statement of late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, he said that if government is intended to send 1 rupee to the common people of India, they actually get only what? 10 paise. He made this statement in the parliament that if we are intended to send 1 rupee to the people of India, actually they are going to get what? Only 10 paise. Rest of the money is going to be in corruption, right? And that's why he want to take initiative, and he want to use more and more information communication technology, so that the platform of the government can be more robust with the use of what? Technology. And technology cannot be corrupted easily, right? Technology may be corrupted, but it is not easily corrupted like humans. Fine. So that's why using of e-governance is not just only going to accelerate the process of governance, but it is also going to make it less corrupt, right? It is going to be less corrupt if we are going to use what? Governance through electronic sources. So that's why since 1990s, the e-governance gaining popularity and momentum day by day in India, right? So this is what we known as e-governance. Clear? Looking after management of a group of resources, implementation of rules and regulations, good to have planning and policy formulation, minimum government. So is it clear why we need e-governance? Why we need e-governance? One is to expedite the governance. Second is to minimize the corruption at governance level. So these are the two basic reasons why we do need e-governance in our system. Right? Why we do need e-governance in our system? This is the reason. Okay? Any doubt? Yes, obviously, e-governance is directly means what? E-governance directly means that less human interaction. Less human interaction means government can expedite whatever government want to give the citizens directly. Government can expedite it, and this expedition is also going to what? Going to means it is going to be less corrupt. So e-governance means it's in other words we can say that the less human interaction. Right now, though there is already a material available in your course, right, for e-governance, right, but This one which I am using here is a compilation of 3-4 sites, right? I have compiled this material, right? You can also refer this one. What is the governance structure? I tried to compile it, right? And I'll share this PDF also in the Telegram group of our paid student. After the class, I will share this PDF. Fine. So you can see that use e-governance to fight what? Corruption. APJ Abdul Kalam, he said that we have to use what? We have to use e-governance into fight against what? Corruption. So to fight the corruption, Kalam said the same thing, and I was also explaining by inspiring this. I was inspired with this quote. So when I was explaining what is e-governance, the quote was always in a mind, and you can also have this quote in your mind when you are supposed to write in descriptive part, right? So for example, in the financial inclusion PDF which I was discussing yesterday, there was a quote by whom? There was quote by Mahatma Gandhi. What he said, that the poverty is the worst form of violence, right? So similarly, this quote can also be used, right, for the writing a descriptive part, right? So the e-governance to fight corruption. You can have this quote in the mind. It is always going to help you. So whatever they have written here in the introduction part, I already explained you, right? And they said that key what the e-governance at the ground level will provide three basic change potential for good governance for development: automation, information, and transformation. Right? Informatization, transformation, automatization. So things are going to be what? Less human interface means things are what? Things are automated. You need not to go for everything. The automation process is there. So less human interaction will be involved and things will be expedited. Another advantage of e-governance is what? Informatization means all the information is already available at single place from where you can get all the information about that person or a community or a particular place for which you want to do the governance part. Fine. Transformation, supporting new human execution information interface. So earlier that process was dealt with what? With writing each and everything in the writing, putting in the logbooks and all. Now all this process is with the help of what? With the help of, for example, earlier for the census. For the census, people have to go with the big register. Now that thing can be done through what? Use of the tablet, right? With the help of tablet. So that can be possible. Right now, government is also trying to implement, for example, in the transportation ministry. Suppose that uh, traffic police caught you, or best example of whom, US. So in USA, if you are caught by the traffic police, right, so your data is sent to whom? If you caught by the traffic police for violation of the traffic rules, what they do, they will send your data to all of the insurance companies, right? So vehicle insurance companies are going to get your data. So data is sent to those companies who are doing the insurance of the vehicle. Now next year when you are going for insurance of your vehicle, suppose that the insurance premium for normal people who are not offender, not offender of what? Those who are not offender of any traffic violation. So maybe for them the premium will be, suppose that $300, because they are not involved in traffic violation, and you have violated traffic 3-4 times. So maybe you have to pay $1,000 in order to what? In order to insure your vehicle. Why you have to pay extra? Because you are a habitual offender. Then company who is doing the insurance of your vehicle, it is going to have a greater risk. So for greater risk, the greater premium have to be paid. So this information infusion is going to allow more and better governance. So this is why the information and transformation, like this example, is also going to be implemented in coming days in India. They are also going to have a plan to implement this thing. Fine. So automation, informatization, and transformation. These are the three things which help what? Which help for governance, right? Then they have highlighted what are the basic advantage of governance, that is cheaper, does more, is quicker, works better, innovative, right? So these are the basic traits of governance: cheaper, does more, is quicker, better, and is innovative. So all these are the basic traits of what? Governance. Then they have given the idea ki where the info in this e-governance was originated. Just read it so you will get an idea. Otherwise it's not very important ki from where it is originated. Then they have given what? Then they have given the types of what? Interactive e-governance: G2G, G2C, G2B, and G2E. So government right now, the present government is not just focused on these two. The present government is more interested in this part. If you will say what is the main focus area of this present government, the main focus area of this present governance to work basically at this level, government to business, right? So the business community who want to do the business in India, for them government is making a lot of efforts, right? It doesn't mean that the earlier government was not making an effort. Earlier government was also making an effort, but this government is extraordinarily paying this attention to this area. Government to employ, for that government is coming with what? Labor codes. Labor codes, government is codifying all the labor laws in basic four laws. There are a lot of labor laws in India, and government is trying to codify all those laws in four basic laws. So that laws is going to be available in the electronic form, and that is going to help to organize the labor force in India. So at this level, government of India is trying to use the governance, the electronic governance part. Okay. So this is what they have just mentioned in the diagrammatic presentation. This is the diagrammatic presentation, what they have mentioned here, right? Any question related to that? Part of e-governance? Vishwas Babu, what do you want to say? The part of e-governance means? What do you want to say? In G2E, part of e-governance. Yes, government is trying to create the entire database for the employees, right? They are trying to create an entire database of the employees. Even some departments already have this thing. For example, those people who are working for the security forces, right? Say their entire profiling is available with the government, right? In fact, for example, Air Force has taken the initiative to collect the DNA of all their personnels, right? So why you are doing this thing? So because in the case of contingency, for example, any crash is there, so in that crash people are not able to identify the body because they are burned, right? So especially in the case of last rites, you are even not able to identify the body. So you are going to collect the DNA. So with that DNA, even you can find the remains of the body and you can go for the last rites. So in that way, Air Force is trying to implement that thing. So how this data is going to be created? It's not on the paper and pen. All these things are going to be stored electronically, right? All this information is going to be stored electronically. Similarly, for the welfare of your employee, you have created a portal, and through that portal, you can get all the information related to what you are going to get post-retirement benefits, right? Even whatever the pension, or you are going to apply for CGHS card, all these things right now available on the portal. So The information for which you have to go to the office, now those informations can be collected by an employee. You are a central government employee, or you are working for the Reserve Bank of India, and you are about to retire. And after retirement, whatever the benefits is provided by the RBI and Government of India, for that, either you have to go to the office, or all those information you can access through their central database system. So all these things is related to what? Employee, government to employee governance. Yes, e-Shram portal for the Greek workers is another example. It is another example of what? Government to employee, e-Shram portal. Okay. So what digital initiative taken by the government? This is clear here, 9 pillars of digital India. Under the 9 pillars of digital India, you can see that broadband, public internet, information, early harvest. What is early harvest? What is early harvest? Early harvest program? Tell me, what is early harvest here? Quick response. Related to farming by using the electronic system. Free trade agreement. Related to farming by using the electronic system. Yes, how it is related to free trade agreement? And Chetan, how it is related to farming by using the electronic system? What electronic system you are going to use in the farming? Hydrophobic farming. Hydroponic farming. You are talking about the hydroponic farming, or what you are talking about? Okay. No idea, sir. No idea. Quick response. Acha. That is related to the thing. Early harvest. Yes, yes, quite right. It is related to what? It is related to when we are going to do a trade agreement, right? When we are going to trade agreement. Right now, this term is very frequently used in context of what? In context of trade agreements. However, here in the 9 pillars of digital India, early harvest have more broader significance. Have more broader significance. But in order to understand more broader significance of early harvest in the digital India, first you must have to understand what actually early harvest means. Early harvest, I told you this is used in context of international economy. So suppose that we India and Australia. India and Australia recently went for early harvest agreement. So under early harvest agreement, actually what we are planning, India and Australia both are planning to do what? They are both are planning to have a free trade agreement, right? They both want to go for free trade agreement, but India has certain reservations regarding some issues. Similarly, Australia have also certain reservations against Indian policy, and India also have certain reservations against Australian trade policy. Fine. So rather than implementing wholesale agreement, right? Rather than implementing wholesale agreement, let's have an agreement for only few sectors. Let's have an agreement not for complete free trade, just have a trade for free trade for suppose that 10 goods. So on 10 goods, we are going to do what? We are going to agree to do the free trade. Free trade means what? You are going to minimize the trade related tariff. All the taxes you are going to impose on Australian goods and Indian goods by Australia, that is going to what? Reduced. The best example is what today means yesterday Australian government announced. Yesterday Australian government announced that they are going to minimize the restrictions for whom? They are going to minimize the restriction for Indian drug companies. Indian drug companies, they are going to minimize the restrictions. Right now, Australia have placed too much restrictions for Indian drug making companies. And if you are going to follow all these terms and conditions, at least 285 days is required to get approval. Right, 285 days is required to get approval to sell the medicine by Indian pharma companies in Australia. But now, yesterday, Australia announced that, which was in the news in today's newspaper. So Australia said that we are going to take back this policy, and what we will do, we will follow what US FDA means US Food and Drug Authority, what they are going to do, Canadian government is going to do, and the European government. So suppose that US, Europe, and Canada, they in these countries, and any Indian company has sent for the approval. Indian company has sent their medicine for the approval, and US has approved, Europe has approved, and Canada has also approved. So on the basis of this approval, Australian government is also going to approve that drug usage in their country. So this is what? This is an initiation of early harvest agreement. Okay, we have differences in certain areas, but where we do agree, let's start with that. Then later on, we will expand it case by case. So this is what we understand the early harvest program. So in that early harvest program, Digital India is going to play a role, right? So rather than doing that work in a wholesale way, rather than doing any work in the wholesale way where there is a lot of if, but, yes, no is involved. We want to do certain work and there is a possibility of if, but, yes, no, why, all these things are involved, right? So rather than doing that work in one shot or in the one way of wholesale way, we have to do that work in a step manner. Let's start with the area where there is less number of problems. Implement it, then implement in another area, then implement in another area, then implement in other area, right? So the integration, for example, the integration of Aadhaar with the various things, right? So let's start integrating the Aadhaar and PAN. Later on, Aadhaar is going to link with your voter ID card. So gradually, Aadhaar is going to be the base of each and everything. Another way is let's link each and everything with the Aadhaar. So maybe it is going to create a lot of technical problem or operational problem. So implement it in the step-by-step manner using the technology. In that context, they have used this early harvest program like thing here, right? Universal access. Universal access means if government want to deliver all those things, people must have a phone, right? So for all that, government has bring down the taxes. Government is giving a lot of incentive for mobile phone manufacturing company in India so that mobile phones can be manufactured and the cost can be bring down. Fine. Electronic devices, electronic delivery of the services for IT for the jobs means electronic delivery. Earlier those goods was physically delivered. Now with the use of technology, right? With the use of technology, for example, in the private sector, certain companies are trying to use drone for the delivery of pizza. So pizzas are going to be delivered or food is going to be delivered with what? Drone. So those delivery people who are right now delivering the food by physically, later on maybe they are going to remain sit at their home with the joystick and they will send that drone to that place. In that drone, that food is going to be there, and then it is going to be delivered at your place with the help of what? With the help of drone. So similarly, maybe government is also going to use the electronic devices. For example, in this budget, they have announced for what? Kisan drone, right? They have announced for what? Kisan drone. We are going to use the Kisan drone for the surveillance of that electronic surveillance of the entire farming field. Fine. So in this way, you are going to use. Then another is what? E-Kranti, electronic delivery of the services. Electronic delivery of the services, that is going to be what? Portal, and through that portal, they are going to deliver those services. Fine. Then e-governance. Then e-governance, one of the 9 pillars of the digital governance is e-governance. So all the things we are going to do with the help of what? E-governance. So e-governance is going to be the base of all remaining 8 pillars. So it have 9 pillars, but actually what? This e-governance is going to be the pillar of all these things. Means broadband, public internet, information, early harvest, universal access, IT job, e-Kranti, electronic, all these things are going to be implemented with the help of what? E-governance. So that's why e-governance have the most important role to play in the digitalization of India. Okay. Chetan, gadgets and technology which may enhance productivity and also it may help in the monsoon detection. I guess not sure. See, detection of monsoon is like drone is not required for detecting of the monsoon. Drone cannot help too much, especially in the Indian context, right? So drones are not required for India, country like India. Drones is not very useful. Satellite is more useful for detecting the monsoon's movement, right? So in that context, they are not very helpful. But yes, to control the pest, right, oversee the growth and each and everything, you can use that drone. Okay. Any question related to that? What I have explained till then now? No questions? Okay. Now, under this Digital India initiative for implementing this e-governance, government has taken various initiatives. For example, My Governance, DigiLocker, e-hospital, hospital online registration framework, national scholarship portal, Darpan, fine, Pragati, Common Services Center. So there is, for me, it is not required to read and explain. It's self-explanatory. I will share this one. You have to just read it. I'm not going to take the reading of all this because it's going to consume time, and it is not having a word to be explained by me because it is self-explanatory in the nature. I will share. You can read it, right? National Center for Geoinformation, National E-Governance Plan, Mobile Seva, lot of things. What I strongly recommend, you should read it properly. It is going to not only important for the point of view of objective part, but e-Kranti or national e-governance, you are not just supposed to use in what? You are not just supposed to use this thing when the question is going to be asked on what? When the question is going to be asked on e-governance. Apart from that question, see, you can use this information when the question is going to be asked by them in the e-governance related descriptive. But the e-Kranti, this thing you can utilize while writing even answer for effective implementation, policy implementation by the government. You can mention that thing in the poverty alleviation. Poverty alleviation means government have to execute those things in the quicker manner, and that e-Kranti is going to help that. Similarly, for health related things, you again have to mention e-Kranti. E-Kranti is going to do what? E-Kranti is going to expedite the health services delivery to the people. So wherever the question is, where you have to write how to expedite the process, how to expedite the process which is related from government to public. Government want to deliver something to public, fine, whether it is health, education, or any social security or whatever, which is going to be provided by the government to whom? Government to people. For that purpose, you can mention this thing in your answer comfortably, right? So this is why this part is quite beneficial if you are going to read that thing, right? For example, this one. So e-hospital online registration framework, if the question is related to what? Health, you can easily mention this, you can easily mention this thing, right? So similarly, all these schemes which are part of e-governance, it is not just related to e-governance. You can use those schemes while writing answer on any other topic, governance, banking, right? Security, whatever the question will be there, you can use these all e-governance related schemes for making your answer more attractive to get more marks. Fine. E-education, right? Then Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Abhiyan, Saksharta Abhiyan, sorry, Digital Saksharta Abhiyan. So for literacy, you can mention Swayam, right? Massive online open course education, e-healthcare, farmers, security, all these, any area, if they are going to ask a question, you have one bullet in your mind, and that bullet is related to what? E-governance. You are not able to find what to write, at least if you have all those schemes in your mind, at least you can mention the government is making effort through e-governance like this. So if you will prepare the topic of e-governance in the very well manner, it is going to help you a lot for the descriptive part. See, this e-governance is less attractive, or you can say less important topic overall. But if you are going to read this topic properly, then you can effectively utilize this topic while writing any answer in your paper when we will talk about descriptive, right? And I'll tell you tomorrow when I'm going to discuss now descriptive part, I'll show you how you are going to use this scheme in the proper manner. So the material which I'm going to share with you and what you have in your portal, use both material. It is going to help you in the great way. Okay. All things is mentioned, even in the context of what? Even in the context of banking is also mentioned here, right? You can read that part. Fine. So I'm not going to further discuss this part. E-governance from my side, I'll let you know what is e-governance, why it is important, what government of India is doing for this e-governance, and most importantly, how you can effectively use and utilize this knowledge of e-governance or this material of e-governance while writing any answer in your descriptive part, right? So now, if you have any question related to what I told you till then now related to e-governance, let me know, or I will switch from e-governance to corporate governance. You're not writing, or my chat box is not working? No doubts. Clear. Eating? That's a eating. Okay. Who suggested first time? It's actually I don't find it is required. So I didn't deliberately searched who has recommended e-governance first time. But though what I believe that the data which I have extracted from the various website, in this data you will find somewhere. I don't feel any means this is necessary to let you know ki who recommended first time, right? It's not like ki who stepped first time on the moon, right? So I didn't find that thing is important. That's why I have not specifically mentioned which committee or commission recommended e-governance first time. Okay, so that fact is absolutely not required. You need not to worry for that fact. तो विश्वास मुझ पे पूरा विश्वास रखो. They are not going to ask this thing कि who has recommended first time. Okay. Now, corporate governance in banking system. Okay. So we have topic here corporate governance in banking system, right? We already know what is banking system. I just thoroughly explained what is governance. Now, first you have to tell me what do you understand by corporate? What do you understand by corporate? What corporate means? Please let me know what do you mean by corporate? Any company, organization, or institute. Any company, organization, or institute. RB is also an organization. Can we call it as a corporate? Universities are also an institution. Can we call them as an corporate? Hmm? Large companies. Business word profit making pattern of governance. Sir, it could be explained as a group of people or entity who are sharing the same goal and have some legal obligation. It could be explained as a group of people. Okay, the group of people, for example, Central Board of RBI. The Central Board of RBI is a group of people who are sharing the same goal. They also have a same goal and have some legal obligations. Central Board of RBI is also have certain legal obligations. So can we call Central Board of RBI as a corporate? Hmm? Any other answer? Relating to a company and its working. Okay. And earlier you told the large companies. Now you are saying that relating to a company and its working. RB is not corporate. Okay. See, there is no exact definition to define corporate, right? But what we can understand, the most important characteristics related to corporate is what uh, Vishwas said that, and maybe yes, your words are not appropriate for explaining, but I can understand what you want to say. I understand what you want to say with while mentioning these any company, organization, or institute. So all of you have given an answer. Uh, it's near to what I'm going to explain, right? So first of all, a corporate means what? What is required to be known as corporate? Organized, so they are organized, they have clear goal, that is what? Profit making. They works on the certain crafted policies with feedback and rectification mechanism, right? They run. Why I have mentioned profit, I have mentioned organization, then I have mentioned the profit making company. There are certain companies who are not for profit company, for example the rating agencies. So they are also companies, but their objective is not to run for profit. They are being funded by the various organizations, they charge some money, but their solo objective is not to make profit but provide the data and stats. Fine. So that's why I use the term organization. So these are the basic triad of any corporate body, right? So that's a corporate body or corporate organization, right? And at the time of working, any corporate, with these predefined objectives when any corporate works, then top management people will be in limelight. Top management people are going to be in the limelight, right? So they are organized, clear goal, works on certain crafted policies with feedback and rectification mechanism. They run medium to not medium to small size, medium to big size. Big size organization, not medium to small, but medium to big size organization. Okay, so this is what we say corporate. Now, why this term corporate emerged? Because in any organization, there is a hierarchy of working people, right? There is a pyramidal hierarchy of working people. So these hierarchy, actually this is for what? This entire thing is for complete hierarchy. But those who are sitting in top of the hierarchy, those who are sitting in top, this the thing fourth thing which I explained: organize, clear goal, work in the certain principle. They run medium to big size company. So all this thing is a part of an organization. But those people who are sitting in the top, those people who are sitting in the top with these objectives, for them this term corporate is used most of the time. For these people who are top of the hierarchy of any organization, for them we generally use this what term corporate. Like MD, CMD, director of a company, all these people, to refer them we use the term corporate, right? The corporate. Okay, clear? Have you got the understanding about what we mean when we say corporate? So suppose that there is a bank. So in the bank, from clerk to probationary officer, manager, then general manager. So there is a hierarchy. And at the top of this hierarchy, there is a CMD, chief managing director, directors, board of director group. All these things are in the top. So for them, we can use what? We can use the term corporate, right? And generally, the term corporate is more associated with what? Private. More associated with private. Fine. But later on, what happened? What government people find that these corporates, basically the private companies, right? So they started using this term corporate for the private company initially. So when the comparison started in India, because earlier India is a kind of economy where the government organization or government-led company are having their dominance. After 1992, when Indian economy was open for the private sector, and private sector started outperforming the government sector in the different areas, whether it is banking system or everywhere where government has went for fair competition. For example, in banking sector, there is no fair competition between government bank and private bank. Government banks are getting a lot of help from the government side. Fine. So wherever the private sector having this option of what? Fair competition with the government company, they outperformed government company in the biggest manner. Fine. Then government people have started thinking why despite government backing and lot of resources, government organizations or government companies, they are not able to perform. So then they found that the private companies, they are working, right? They are working the way they work. They are working in a very professional manner, in the very distinguished manner. Fine. So we also have to implement such kind of the policy even at the PSUs also. So that's why the term corporate governance. For government organization, government companies, the more important term was governance. But later on, when government companies also trying to catch up with the private company, and especially in the banking sector, then this corporate governance term is started being used for PSUs as well as PSU banks, right? So this corporate governance term is getting popular day by day to improve the governance in government banks and government companies, other companies like IOCL, Indian Oil, all means IOCL is Indian Oil, HAL, all these PSUs, you have started using the term corporate governance, corporate governance. The term governance, the term governance is more used for government as an organization, whereas corporate governance, this term, the corporate governance term, now it is used for what? Banks, not only private but also for whom? Public sector banks. Apart from banks, other companies, private as well as public companies like PSUs. So wherever there is an organization which is looking for profit, whether it is private or public, the term more frequently used is what? Corporate governance, whereas for the government and its organization, still the term only governance is used. So when we say corporate governance and we say the governance, so government governance is more associated or related to the government's organization, departments of the government, municipal corporation, state government, central government's department, defense ministry, external affairs ministry. So these are related to what? Governance. But when we'll start discussing about what? Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Bharat Dynamics Limited, right? Or Mazagan Dockyard Limited. So all these are companies of Government of India, State Bank of India, PNB, ICICI Bank, HDFC. So all these organizations are for the profit motive, whether they are for the government or they are private. So we are going to use this term corporate governance. Clear? Is this point is clear? Why we use the term corporate governance? What is the meaning of corporate governance is clear? Okay. So corporate governance in banking. Why corporate governance in banking is more sensitive? Why corporate governance in banking is more sensitive than any other industry? Why corporate governance is more sensitive in banking sector, or why corporate governance, a proper corporate governance, well functioned proper corporate governance is more important in banking industry than any other industry? Can you tell me, or you can try for it, why corporate governance is very important or have special significance in comparison to? See, corporate governance is very important for any organization or any company who is working with all these four objectives. But in the context of banking sector, it is having more significance or more importance. Why? Use your Nariyal and let me know what thoughts are going to moving in your Nariyal right now. Because banks have direct public dealing. So how public dealing is going to be sensitive? Any company, for example, Tata Motors. So Tata Motors is also dealing with public, not directly. They are selling their product. Any automobile company, they also have a direct public dealing. So why corporate governance is more important in HDFC Bank? This is the private bank. Than Tata Motors. Tata Motors is a company who are dealing with the public, providing their vehicle for public usage by taking money from them, by selling their vehicles to them. And bank is also offering their products to the public. But corporate governance is more sensitive and more important for whom? HDFC Bank. Tata Motors is also important. Therefore, them corporate governance is very important. But in general, why is more sensitive with respect to bank? As bank deals on the large scale with public money. Bank deals with what? Public money. So with issue, you just miss this thing, public money part. Because banks works from make profit, I think. No, everyone is working for the profit. We can also say CG is set of rules and regulations need to be followed by the management in which decisions taken by them impacting the shareholding and lives of people. Okay, banks are associated with credit of public which may hamper economy if any misappropriation happened might be one of the reason. Acha. Any lapses in the governance will lead to the huge financial system crisis. Yes, that is another important point. This is quite interesting. When you guys are giving an answer, I have seen this exact opposite situation during the class. What I am trying to say is कि whenever I'll ask the question to students, right? Generally, I do not do this thing, but because the interesting thing I have just found it here, that's why I'm telling you. So generally, whenever I'll ask the question for is anything, boys and girls, right? So generally, when boys are going to give the answer, their objective is what? They want to explain what it is. Whereas when the girl is going to explain, she is more focused on proper explanation. The proper explanation rather than the casual explanation. Here, what is happening? All the boys, these they are giving what? They are trying to give the structured, well written answer, whereas girls are giving what? The kind of rough explanation to make them understand. It's exactly happening opposite in the life. Means in the proper physical class right now, I'm seeing that most of the time they boys, they are always interested ki are sir, I have to prove the point. I am not interested in the process. Girls are going to explain proper definition, each and everything, example, this is what, this is this. But here, exactly opposite. And there is a proper reason. I tell you, there is a proper reason why boys are generally casual in their approach and girls are very systematic. The simple reason is what? Look at our society. In our society, all the casual thing made by the boys are not going to be recognized by their family, right? But if girl is little bit casual, she is always being pointed by the family people, right? What dressing sense they have, what they are, means it's no doubt society is little bit moving, right? I'm having no doubt, but still when I and you, I'm talking about the boys, they are going to make anything silly. They are not being poked or they are not being what? identified कि no, this is not right way. But for girls, every time it is going to be what, no, you should not do in this way, you should not do in that way, this is not the proper way. So that's why the mindset is going to be what, to do the things in the more systematic and organized manner, right? And this is why when any exam, especially university exams, the more chance of the those students who are going to top or clear in the exams, university exams, more possibility girls are going to clear those exams. They are going to get more marks, right? But that approach sometimes that create a problem for them when they are going to appear in such exam where the final answer is more important than process, right? Final answer is more important than process. For example, objective time. I'm not undermining their performance, but I'm telling why they sometimes face this difficulty, because they always believe in step by step, step by step, step by step, right? So this is why sometimes happen. But in last few years I have seen that even in those kind of the exams, girls are gradually moving ahead, right? And maybe if this trend is going to continue, then chorias are going to be better than choras, right? So it's not like that कि हमारी छोरियां क्या छोरों से कम है, नहीं कम नहीं है, they are going to be ज़्यादा, fine. So it's alarm bell for all chore. Okay, now chalo come back to the point. In case of bank, if personal interest of the top management arises, it could be lead to fiasco. Sometimes in corporate governance it can be mitigated if not eliminated. क्या बात है, आर्य साहब तो आज पूरे फुल फॉर्म में, विश्वास पे मुझे पूरा विश्वास हो गया है. Now, so whatever you guys have explained, that is quite right, because banking system, first of all, banking system is getting the money. Banking system is getting the money from whom? Public. Again, to whom they are lending? Most of the time they are lending to public. I'm not saying that they are lending only to public, but most of the time they are lending to whom? Public. And they are getting the money, they are getting the funds in order to lend that money from the public. So if bank is going to have any problem because of their poor governance, it is going to shake entire system, right? From borrowers to lender, depositor, each and everybody is going to be in a problematic situation, and it is going to question mark entire banking system, right? Entire functioning, and people are going to lose their faith in the banking system itself, right? Financial system itself, not just banking system, even then the financial system itself. So that's why the corporate governance is more important in context of bank than any other organization which is looking for profit. Clear? Why it is more important for the banks? Okay, so this is the reason why the corporate governance is more important from the bank. So when we talk about the corporate governance in banking sector, right? So there, that can be implemented by bank itself, right? Bank who is doing this public business, bank know that ki if I am not going to do this business, I am going to lose this market, because now it is very competitive market. So first of all, bank himself trying to do the best at their own level. Bank is going to do that things on their own level, but the regulator, right? But the regulator is very what we can say that he is vigilant, because if because of any reason, if bank is going to fail, if bank is going to be fail, then not only that bank but the regulator, who? RBI, his working, his efficiency is also going to be under what? A question mark. So that's why regulator do not want to take any chances. Means regulator, that is RBI, is not going to just dependent on what I'm presuming no, banks are doing the corporate governance in the proper manner. We need not to do anything from our side. It's not like that. Whatever banks are going to do to improve or make efficient their corporate governance, it is going to be well analyzed as well as time to time rechecked, and wherever the regulator is going to find any loophole in the corporate governance or the possibility of any loophole, RBI will step in by providing certain guidelines to improve their corporate governance, right? So there are some basic corporate governance thing which is implemented or executed by bank itself. Wherever if bank is not implementing, or because of any reason, because bank is ignoring or bank is not paying proper attention, bank is not able to identify this is the issue or it is a big issue, then in that case who is going to step in? RBI is going to step in. And sometimes RBI feel also helpless because RBI is not a lawmaking body. So for that, if to strengthen the corporate governance, RBI feel that this rule should be there. This rule should be there. Then RBI is going to consult with whom? Then RBI is going to consult with Ministry of Finance, and through Ministry of Finance, government is going to make a law, and that law is going to empower RBI to put necessary guidelines over the banking system in order to strengthen the corporate governance in the country. Right? So in this way, the structure of corporate governance works. Clear this point? The basis of the corporate governance. Basis of corporate governance is clear. Okay, so in this PDF, another PDF related to corporate governance in banking in India. It is different PDF from the PDF which you already have in your course, right? So here they are writing corporate governance is concerned with the ways of bringing interest of investor. So just for your clarification, here interest investor basically means what? Depositors. Right? Investor means here what? Depositor. Manager means banking people in a line to ensuring that firms are run for the benefit of the investor. Right? The corporate governance include structure, process, culture, system that engender the successful operation of organization. Right? So basic means what? As a person, I'm going to put my savings in the bank, right? I'm going to put my savings in a bank in order to maximize it. So my interest or my savings, I'm going to put in the bank. What is in my mind? I want to increase my savings through bank, right? Increase my savings and investments. I want to increase my wealth. Fine. So the same objective of people who are working there should be what objective? We have to work for increasing the wealth of whom? The people who are putting their money in our bank. Right? You are working because government is paying salary to you. Right? It should not be like that. You are working because you have to make sure that those people who are investing their money in your bank, they must be get benefited. If they are going to grow, then our organization is also going to grow. So this is the synchronization of thought process of a person who is putting his money in what? Who is putting his money in the bank. So for teacher like me who are teaching at this platform, I am not a owner or shareholder in this platform. I'm just a teacher. Fine. So my objective as a teacher, it should not be just related to what? Just related to finish the lectures, earn the money, and go back to our home or whatever I am going to do. I should feel like that if I am going to work very hard at this platform, definitely more number of people or more number of students are going to join this platform and organization is going to grow, right? Then automatically my remuneration is also going to increase. So I have to not focus on how I can increase my remuneration. I must always think in that manner. If organization is going to grow, my remuneration is automatically going to increase. So my focus is not should be on increasing the remuneration. The people who are working in the bank, they always not focus on what how to increase my remuneration, how I can get more promotions, more money, more influence. The objective is if you will work very hard, automatically you will be grow, right? Because your organization is grow. So for me, motive is what? To make sure that my organization on what platform I'm working, it should grow. So then automatically I will grow, right? So this is what the work ethics said, and this is why they have mentioned the work culture, right? Or in other word, professionalism, right? Professionalism. For example, in cricket, right? So if in cricket a IPL team is going to pay you, then you must have to give your 100% in the ground. You should not shy while diving for to save the runs or to get the catch, right? If you are shy because if I will dive or stretch, maybe I'm going to have a hamstring or I'm going to broke my arm, so I'm not going to dive. So this is not showing your professionalism with respect to the work which is assigned to you, for which you took the payment. So similarly, in organization where the people are working in the banking setup, they must work for the best interest of the people who are putting their money in the organization, right? So key constituents of a corporate governance. Corporate governance contributes the efficiency of a firm, enabling them to complete internationally and sustained way. Right? Corporate governance play an important role in maintaining the integrity in the organization and to manage the risk of the firm. Right? Risk of the firm. It is crucial system which guides, monitors, control organization function. And they have three important part. Right? Board of directors, shareholders, and management. Right? So, for example, I have given another example. Board of director means our Ashok ji, and stakeholders, you guys, and the part of management in context of what as a teacher, I. So this is what we have to ensure. Ki all these things should be in the synchronization. Student must understand, they must trust and believe in their teacher, and as students are going to have a great faith on the management as well as board of director, though they also have to work in such a synchronization for best benefit of whom? Students, right? So in this way the corporate governance have what? Three basic constituent. Fine. What is the objective of corporate governance? I already explained you in the detailed manner, right? Objective of the corporate governance are I already explained in you detailed manner. Broad canvas of the corporate governance guidelines for the bank, right? So they have mentioned here certain objective of corporate governance: operate the bank's business on day-to-day basis. You just need to read this part. You just need to read this part. You will be going to have a proper clarity. I already provided the base to you. You just have to do what? Just read that part and things will be clear. This part I need to discuss essential elements of good corporate governance. Transparency. Things should be worked in the transparent manner. There should be nothing like that ki something is being hidden by certain group of individuals who are working. So suppose that in the top hierarchy of a company, this is the hierarchy of a company, and in the top hierarchy, suppose that there are these people, right? There are these people. So it should not be like that ki these two are hiding something from the others. Whatever they are doing, that must be openly available for all the members who are working at the top management platform, right? Accountability means whatever you are doing as a top manager, you must answerable for your action. Means you must provide explanation why you are doing this thing, and if you are found guilty, you must be punished. So you must be accountable means ki whatever I am going to do, I must provide the explanation or proper reason why I am going to do this, and before doing this I must take other people in confidence. So suppose that the board of directors, there are the 10 people, 12 people, 14 people. So if 2 3 people are going to do something, they must explain why they want to do it, what are their reasons, and they have to take approval in general from the board before start doing that thing. Fairness of all the stockholders means those who are on the board of company, right? They are the part of board of directors of a company. They must have clear stated objective, and they should not manipulate the things, especially in terms of what? In terms of insider trading. You know what is insider trading? The first insider trading was done by whom? Vibhishan. Vibhishan did the insider trading first time. He provided the all valuable information about Ravan's formation and provide all vital information to Prabhu Shri Ram Sena. Right. So similarly, what the meaning of insider trading means? You are providing the secret of all means of your company to outsiders in order they can gain some benefits of this their secret decision. So company is making a plan ki this is what we are going to bid, this amount we are going to bid. So you have provided the information ki our company is going to bid this amount, our company's plan is this. So you are providing the vital information about your company to others who are maybe potentially your rivals. So that is going to create a problem for your company. So insider trading should not be there. Your work with the proper fairness, right? Social, regulatory, environmental concerns. This thing we have discussed yesterday. Social environmental governance. Social environmental governance means when a company is going to do the business, they should not harm society in the larger manner. They must take the consideration of environmental related things and regulatory related things. Though this point is not too much important, means especially the environmental and regulatory part, it's not too much important in the context of bank, but social context is important because banks are a channel through which people can access the social security, right? So in that context, the social security part is important in context of banks functioning. Clean and ambiguous legislation and regulations means whatever the decision making process at the top management is in the bank, it should be clearly and properly visible. Fine. A healthy management environment. Healthy management environment ka means what? Not It's not like that ki every people who is in the board that should be healthy properly. It is not like that. Healthy management means ki nobody is threatened. If you are going to speak against us, then we are going to what? We are going to conspire against you, and we will make sure that you will be fired, right? So everyone should be in the sync, and they all have one stated objective: the betterment of a company and the bank. They should not have what? Something hidden motive, and everybody who is in the board can speak freely whatever they think regarding others' plans or others' viewpoint. Fine. Explicitly prescribed norms of ethical practice and code of conduct. Ethical practice and code of conduct means what? Ethical practice means ki you are not supposed to do this. You are trying to bring every member of your family in the board. Though there is a practice, you want to put all the family members on the board, but just because of a shareholder you can, but that person is not going to be the ultimate decision maker. Ultimate decisions must be made by who? The company's board. For example, what the decisions is being taken by the Reliance Industries Limited, RIL. So all these decisions means, it not means MB and TB means Mukesh and Tina Ambani. All the decisions Ambani, sorry, A, not B. Mukesh Ambani and Tina Ambani, right? They are the owner, means Mukesh Ambani is a owner, but he is not going to take all the decisions. Maybe his son or daughter, they are also part of this board. Some family members are also part of the board. But when the board is going to take a decision, it is not like that कि no, Ambani sir ये बोल रहे हैं इसलिए सही है, because it is said by Ambani, that's why it's right. So all the board members should take or should give their independent opinion without coming under the influence of any of the shareholder or the owner. And if at any point of time board feels that the owner or the founder of company is not working, or his vision or his way of working is not suitable for the growth of company, the board have this power to expel that owner, or they can remove him from the board. So if Mukesh Ambani is going to take certain irrational decisions, right? Maybe he may be removed from the board. Like many times I have given you the example of Steve Jobs. He was thrown out of from Apple because his way of doing the work was not finding suitable by the Apple company board. Though he's a founder, he was the founder. Anish Grover, he is a founder of BharatPe, and he is thrown out because his way of working, his code of conduct is not appropriate and ethical in the nature. He was abusing, right? So ethical and code of conduct was not appropriated. That's why he was thrown out from the board of BharatPe. Fine. So the best example for this point, right? The objective of company must be clearly documented. What is our objective? It should be clearly documented. Well composed audit team. Audit is very important. Audit is very important. Each and every work done by the company thoroughly checked properly. Otherwise, most of the recent problems which we have seen in the banking system or in the corporate governance in general, because of lack of proper audit, you are not able to detect that problem in the initial audits. So the role of auditor, the people who are doing the audits, is very important, right? So if it is going to be detected in the very few years, then that problem cannot be ballooned, right? It can be resolved at initial level only. So that's why the audit system should be very robust, right? Even RBI has accepted that we have to improve our auditing system. And in fact, the government of India is also coming with the legislation to change the entire structure from where the auditors are coming, right? From where these auditors and these company secretaries are, they are coming. Government of India in planning to complete overhaul this auditing system in India. Best example of corporate governance is Bhaskar Divakar Chaudhary in Partner when he explained the board. Recently, Ingolo's CEO is thrown out of her own company. अभी भास्कर दिवाकर चौधरी कौन है आई डोंट नो भाई. A risk is an important element in the corporate functioning and governance. So, the people who are in the top management, they must have the awareness to what extent we can go for risk, right? To what extent we can take the risk, right? It should be properly mentioned. And one more thing, clear whistleblower policy. Whistleblower policy means what? Company should have a kind of structure where if somebody is going to take any decision or they are working against the interest of a company, then other person can raise the alarm and tell everyone about that issue. And after he has raised the alarm, because of any reason, he should not be removed because he just raised the alarm. He should not be removed. So, well protection policy of the whistleblower should be clearly mentioned in the company's document so that people must have a dare. If something is happening wrong, they can freely going to make a noise regarding wrong happening in the company. In that context, they have mentioned what? Whistleblower policy. Okay. So this is what from my side. Okay. Apart from this, again, what I told you yesterday, again, I'm going to tell you, please refer your PDF, which is provided by us in the course. Go through that. If you have any doubt or confusion, please ask me. I will clarify that doubt. Okay. So this part, a conceptual understanding of e-governance and corporate governance from my side is over. Anything else you want to know, please read those PDF and get back to me. Ki I'm facing this difficulty to understand that part. Let me know. I'll clarify. Okay. So, any questions? Zilingo. See you. No questions? Okay. So, I'm Ankiti Bose. Okay. Okay then. So I'm winding up this session. Let's meet tomorrow with descriptive part. Okay. So we will discuss the descriptive part tomorrow. Fine. So time to say good night to all of you. We'll meet tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.